Chapter 3. By night, on my bed, I sought him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but I found him not. I will rise now and go about the city, in the streets, in the broad ways. I will seek him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but I found him not. The watchmen that go about the city found me. Saw you him whom my soul loves? Scarce had I passed from them, when I found him whom my soul loves. I held him and would not let him go, until I had brought him into my mother's house, into the chamber of her that conceived me. I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles, by the hinds of the field, that you awaken not, nor stir up love, until it please. Who is that comes up out of the wilderness, like pillars of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, with all powders of the merchant? Behold, it is the litter of Solomon. 80 mighty men are about it, of the mighty men of Israel. They all handle the sword, and they are all expert in war. Every man hath his sword upon his thigh, because of the dread in the night. King Solomon made himself a palanquin of the wood of Lebanon. He made the pillars thereof of silver, the top thereof of gold, the seat of purple, the inside thereof being inlaid with love, from the daughters of Jerusalem. Go forth, O you daughters of Zion, and gaze upon King Solomon, even upon the crown wherewith his mother hath crowned him in the day of his espousals, and in the day of the gladness of his heart. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. Continuing with this Song of Songs, or the Poem of Poems, whichever one you want to call it. It's becoming that of as we go into more like a wedding. That comes before the wedding. This is even that period of the courtship, so to speak. But we are coming to the point of the and we're going to pick it up here as we continue from the last chapter. This one who is the lily of the rose, the love of loves, and comparing their love, even like the wild, our own instincts, our own thing that guides us in life, maybe our own basic animal instincts, that even of right and wrong. We're going to pick it up here in verse 1. By night, on my bed, I sought him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but I found him not. And once again, we're picking up with this feminine speech. My voice a little rough for feminine speech, but that's who's speaking here, the feminine. To seek that love which her soul, and to rise up in the night while it's still dark, and go to seek or to look for this overwhelming desire, this love. 2. I will rise now and go about the city, in the streets, and in the broad ways. I will seek him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but I found him not. And we have this one who goes about the city in the night, seeking. A city is a place with a guard, as we're going to find out. She runs into them in the streets, in the places where they go, about the broad ways, these merchant places where people come and gather. I will seek him whom my soul loves, even the one of our earnest desire. I sought him, but I found him not. Looked for him, but she couldn't find him. 3. The watchman that goes about the city found me. Saw you him whom my soul loves? And now she runs into the watchman. The watchman is the one who guards the city, and we'll see there's more than one here. These are the ones that go about the city to watch over, and that's why they call them the watchmen. And she asked him, have you saw this one? Have you saw the one whom my soul desires? And the watchman is the one who keeps the night. He watches over in the night, so no harm comes. Night, darkness always represents a period of evil, a period of the lack of understanding, because everybody's asleep. 4. Scarce had I passed from them when I found him whom my soul loves. I held him, and would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house, and into the chamber of her that conceived me. Scarce, so it hadn't been long, she had passed from them, and found him. She had found the one whom her soul loves. She held him. She wouldn't let him go. She brought him into her mother's house. The mother is the one who gives us this birth, this one who conceives us, even into life, and into the chamber of her that conceived me. A chamber is that innermost place where she conceived. 5. I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles, by the hinds of the field, that you awaken not, nor stir up love, until it please. I beg you, I bid you, I ask you. It's a request, O daughters of Jerusalem. These daughters, once again, are ones sent forth with understanding from that city of the teachings of peace. I refer to them as the laws. By the gazelles, by the hinds of the field. Gazelles is something that's swift, and these hinds, like I have said, are this wild instincts that we all have. And because this is that natural thought process that goes through, but unfortunately it's not the actual thing. It's a process. Our instinct, even, to view God in one way when it's really another. That's just, these daughters of Jerusalem are these laws, these understandings, because we'll find out when they stir up love, and there is this love, and it goes to this pagan understanding. Is my interpretation of it. 6. Who is that cometh up out of the wilderness, like pillars of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, with all powders of merchant? Who is this? We're going to find out. That comes up out of the wilderness, out of that place where the words drive out, like pillars of smoke. Pillars of smoke, or pillars are something that supports something else. Always are. These are of smoke, and pillars of smoke supports the fact that there's fire. Fire means there's just judgment, there's destruction. And these are perfumed with myrrh and frankincense. These are perfumed with pleasantness and goodliness, with all the powders of the merchant. Merchant's one that sells things, and these powders are that which is ground finely to give fragrance. And there's several ways we could look at that too. I mean, it just depends on how deep you want to read into something, but you'll have to read into it. 7. Behold, it is a litter of Solomon. 80 mighty men are about it, of the mighty men of Israel. Behold, this is what it was. Who's coming up out of the wilderness? Behold, it's the litter of Solomon. A litter is something he rides on. It's something a litter is literally a litter, that which you carry somebody on. Because remember, you got to carry the king. And this is Solomon. Solomon means peace. There's 80 mighty men about it. 80. That's 60. 3 and a score is 20. So 3 times 20 is 60. And these are men of the law. These are mighty men that are about it. These are of the mighty men of Israel. And Israel are those that contend with the mighty one. They always have. 8. They all handle the sword, and they are expert in war. And to contend with the mighty one means that you try to keep right. You try to stay right with the law and his understanding that the Lord put in you from the beginning. Remember, he said he did. 8. They handle all the sword, and the expert in war. Every man has his sword. upon his thigh because of the dread in the night. They all handle the sword. That means in their works is the word. Really, it's a pretty simple thing. They can swing that sword. In a battle, they are expert in war, and that's fighting against the ignorance in life. Every man has his sword upon his thigh, and that thigh is that place on your leg. Your leg is that part that shows the great strength of those things you go on. And it's going to be the word. 9. King Solomon made himself a palanquin of the wood of Lebanon. And a palanquin is a litter. It's something you'd be carried on, but it's going to have a box, and it's something that's decked out. We're going to see what it is. It's the Cadillac of his age. King Solomon, once again, is the peace. This king, the king of peace, even. It literally is, that was the representation at that point. And he made this himself. It's out of the wood, and wood is that which is hewn down, that come from those things that exalt themselves out of Lebanon. Lebanon is that place that was made white. Lebanon means white. White stands for pureness. He made the pillars thereof of silver, the top thereof of gold, the seat of purple, and the inside thereof being inlaid with love, from the daughters of Jerusalem. He made the pillars thereof of silver, and this is all, in those days, had some form of representation. It always did. When the king's in it, it has a representation. It's supposed to mean something. He made the pillars, and once again, pillars are something that supports something else. These were made out of silver. Silver is that which has been purified. It's passed through the fire. It's had stood to judgment. The top thereof was gold. Gold was that which belonged to God. The seat of it is purple, and the seat thereof, or that place where to rest or recline, is of purple, and then it has a majestic appearance to it. The inside thereof being inlaid with love, the inside or the inward part thereof having been encased with love. And this love was from the daughters of Jerusalem, and it represented that from the daughters of Jerusalem, these ones who have the teachings of peace, that go forth from their father with that understanding. 11. Go forth, O you daughters of Zion, and gaze upon King Solomon, even upon the crown wherewith his mother hath crowned him in the day of his espousals, and in the day of the gladness of his heart. So go forth, you daughters of Zion, and that you daughters of Zion are the same. They're these daughters that go forth now of this parched place, that place the Lord made an example of before, these ones that have that understanding and go forth from there and gaze upon King Solomon. Look upon that King of Peace. The representation is basically what it boiled down to. Even upon that crown, that circle that goes around his head, that is like a witness wherewith his mother crowned him, and that's the one that gave birth to him. When she crowned him in the day of his espousals, and even in that understanding of his espousals, these weddings, for he married many women from many different lands and countries, and we'll find out he built each one of them an altar and that's basically was that understanding that there would be peace with all nations someday. Under that would be my interpretation of it. And in the days of the gladness of his heart, and this would be that where he would rejoice. It all had how do we say, was like a paradigm, so to speak, of even things that would come, of these things that keep going around and around. I've talked about them many times. But this would be the relationship of one way to view this, and there's other ways to view this love story, but this is going to be my take on it. We're going to move forward to Song of Songs, chapter 4.